Hey everybody, welcome to video 1B about the particulate view of matter. Just so you know, by the end of this video, students or anybody who's watching this video should be able to describe what the particulate view of matter is, and you may even be able to understand how it relates to chemistry. Just realize that everything is made of particles. Everybody out there should realize, probably should understand, that particles is what makes up matter. Sometimes we call them atoms, sometimes we call them molecules, but regardless, if we zoom in close enough, and the picture that I have right there is supposed to be like a zoomed in picture of, let's say, water, you can see that everything is made up of particles. But this picture probably doesn't do the theory justice for some of the scale and some of the other things. So I want to go to a website and I'm going to show you what the particulate view of matter is using this website. This is the website scaleofuniverse.com. You're more than welcome to go here in your free time to see more of what this site has to offer than what I am showing you. But what we're going to be able to do is we're going to be able to zoom in on objects, everyday objects. So you can see here's a human, and if you actually click on it, it will, as soon as my computer loads, it will give you some information about the object that I'm zooming in on here. Okay, oh, it just zoomed out. So, and then there's the dodo bird, and you can go in here and you can see some of these things. Hummingbird, and you notice what we're doing is we're slowly moving in, okay, getting through the things that we can see with our naked eye, and then we go into, there's a sunflower seed and an ant, so we're getting really small here to see with our naked eye, okay, and now we're getting into things that you can't see until you get into without a microscope, sorry. And so there's an amoeba. You guys should probably know this stuff from biology. Okay, and so there's silk fiber. And so we're going to zoom. We're going to keep zooming in, zooming in, zooming in here. And then you can see there's, look, there's the smallest thing for the optical microscope. Viruses. There's DNA. So a lot of biology. Then we're going to keep going. Look, there's a phospholipid, you may remember. Now, though, we're going to get into the realm of chemistry. So we're going to zoom in, and you'll notice that once we get in down here, somewhere where we are at 10 to the minus 10 meters, you'll notice that we have particles. And so this is a water molecule, because water is a compound. So here's a water molecule. And so everything is made up of these particles. And you'll notice that there's a carbon atom. So that's one individual piece of carbon. And then here's a hydrogen atom and a helium atom. The helium atom is the smallest atom in the known periodic table. And I think it's going to stay the smallest. And of course we can get even smaller. Just so you know, we can go down and we can actually zoom in on things like the nucleus of an atom, but we'll save that for later. But the point is that when we go out through all those things that we know we can see with our eye, everything is made up of these particles. And again, sometimes they're called atoms, and sometimes they're called molecules. Atoms are for elements, molecules are for compounds. So we'll go back to the PowerPoint presentation. So since everything is made up of particles, let's take a moment to try to understand the particles themselves. There are two different types of particles for now that we're going to talk about. There's atoms and there's molecules. Up here you'll see that we have a carbon atom. That is an individual piece of matter. That's actually the smallest unique piece of matter with its own unique properties. So carbon atom will be different from a nitrogen atom and an oxygen atom. More on that later, but just know that an atom is its own unique piece of matter. And so down here we have a molecule, and this happens to be the hydrogen chloride molecule, if you see. And the hydrogen chloride molecule is 2 or more atoms put together. And so they're connected together. And so how are those atoms connected together? They're connected together with something called a bond. When two atoms are bonded together, that makes a molecule. 2 or more. There can be up to a bajillion atoms bonded to make a molecule. So we also then need to talk about forces versus bonds. So here's your HCl molecule that we just talked about. Here's H, here's Cl, and this is a bond. Again, it's something that holds atoms together in a molecule. That is typically pretty strong. But molecules and particles can be attracted to each other, not by a bond, but just by some sort of something that is this being attracted to this molecule being attracted to this molecule. And so there's something called a force that holds particles together, and that is typically weak or weaker than a bond. And so you can have a bond which holds the molecule together within itself, interior to the molecule, or you can have a force that holds particles to other particles, whether it's an atom or a molecule. So it's always good to know the difference between those when we talk about it. So now we're going to just finish up this video talking about this picture. I want you to try it yourself. So pause the video, try to answer that statement that I have there about what you see in this picture. Okay, I assume you've paused the video, and let me describe what I see here. I don't see any individual atoms. I see 5 molecules. Those molecules are made up of atoms, but I don't see any atoms all by themselves. Now those molecules are being held together by bonds. Those bonds are pretty strong. And then the molecules themselves are being held together or attracted to each other by forces. So I think that it's important that you describe all those aspects of what you see there. Well, that does it for particulate view of matter. Feel free to go back and review as much as you want.